Mike Reno of Loverboy looks back at their biggest Spotify song, Workin' for the Weekend, and an SNL clip that sort of gave it another life with Chris Farley, Patrick Swayze, and Saturday Night Live. The fact that you like Working for the Weekend is your biggest song on Spotify, 119 million. I mean, it's insane. I was showing my wife a while ago. She says, but it was originally a different title, and you came up with just changing a word in there, right?
Paul and I working on the song. He had it originally. He was singing this. He was singing it all day. He's different. He kind of sings the songs when he's working on them. And when he asked me to come over to work on it, I initially just changed some of the melodies and that's how we work together. And I kind of closed my eyes and sang "Everybody's Working for the Weekend," and he looked at me and he went, "Oh my God, that's so much better." And so that was kind of one of those things. Yeah. And it was like, dude, wow. It's just, it was close, but now it's really right on the money. And that just happens. It's kind of when we get in the studio, just things like that happen.
Well, it's better than Waiting for the Weekend. I think that was originally what I think he was singing or something like that. And you know what? Working for the Weekend speaks to people. It speaks to them because that's almost like capsulizing how they're thinking.
Well, everyone is. I know people work and they work for the weekend and they work hard for the weekend. And when the weekend comes, they really enjoy themselves. And that's still today. It's still the same thing. And we do it today. Sometimes a lot of the shows we play are on the weekend. So now I say everybody's working on the weekend, but I just laugh. It's kind of just a little internal joke.
Have you seen this? Have you seen the Saturday Night Live, Chris Farley, Patrick Swayze thing when they're playing Chip and Dale? You must have seen it.
Are you kidding me? Do I didn't even know they were doing it because back then, and still, even today, they can do stuff if they want. They just have to pay a royalty, right? And a lot of times they don't even have to ask. They could just use it and then pay the royalty and everything's good. I was packing after a gig somewhere in a hotel, and I always put Saturday Night Live on. We finished, around 10 o'clock. By the time you get back to the hotel, it's 11:30, and at 11:30, wherever you are, that's when Saturday Night Live comes on. And I like to pack before I hit the set, so I'm kind of packing, putting my stuff away, watching Saturday Night Live, and all of a sudden, the skit comes on, which I thought was really funny, and I sat down on the edge of the bed. I was watching this thing. I go, look at this. Look at that fat bastard dance. And he was really good. Huh? He was a really good dancer. And I'm looking at the other guy and I'm going, look at this guy. He's just cut like a chisel. And then, and then it was a well done thing. And, he's standing, they got no shirts on. And then all of a sudden you hear the cowbell and they start rocking to Working for the Weekend. And I almost pissed my pants. I got to be honest with you. I was totally blown away. And that's how I saw it. I saw it just like everybody else.
Speaking of cowbell, I talked to the Bouchard brothers who used to be in Blue Oyster Cult about, of course, Don't Fear the Reaper, right? More cowbell. And to them, it's having such a big hit. And you guys, that's such a huge song where it gets almost another life from another genre coming from the center of the pie from a slight different angle. And all of a sudden that must come through in sales, doesn't it? Or does it? Did you even know?
Yeah. It's been a very good source of income if that's what you're getting at.
No, but after Saturday Night Live.
You know what it is? It's just popularity. The song becomes so popular, it takes on a life of its own. That's definitely one of those songs. It takes on a life of its own. Almost like, you just can't believe it. You hear that bonk, bonk, cowbell, and boom, break into it, and people immediately love that song. And it's been one of those things. Lucky us, huh? We got that song. And Turn Me Loose is the same. They start with the keyboard and the drums, and then the bass comes in, and people know exactly what's going to happen, and they just love it. And you can say it about Loving Every Minute of it. You go, When It's Over, Kid Is Hot Tonight, Hot Girls in Love. We've been pretty lucky with the songs that have broken through and stayed there. And a lot of people went to school, whether they were in high school or university, they partied with these songs. Like, I've had over 200 people come up to me over the years and say, you played my graduation. And I go, okay, where was it? And they tell me where it was. They tell me all about it. The reality is we never played any graduations. Not a few, we played none. So people had the songs in their graduation parties, but we never played the party. It was just, they were listening to our music. And that says something,
When you and I met, you remember the Ched concert that picnic Ched concert. And I asked you, how do you remember that? And you said, well, it's important. It's like a hockey player remembering a play. How do you remember that? It's 35, 40 years ago.
When
But
it ended, right?
what's that? Edmonton, yeah.
Well, here's the deal. We got asked to play this thing, and they were expecting, 2,500 people kind of thing. And thousands of people showed up because the song was hitting and everybody was on the radio. People, well, we've got to see these guys. It was probably one of those things where it was a radio thing, so it was free. And so many people came, I could never forget it. It was awesome.
Was this before the Kiss thing or after the Kiss concert?
Oh, this was way after. The Kiss concert was something, we were in rehearsals trying to find a bass player at the time. We hadn't even had Scott in the band. We were using Jim Clinch from April Wine. He was in Vancouver on a holiday. And I said, could you come and play tonight? We just got asked to play the Coliseum. Warm up Kiss. He goes, well, I hardly know the songs. He said, I've just been jamming with you guys. I don't really know the structures of these songs. I remember when we were on stage, I had to walk over to Jim and go to he looked at me like a deer in the headlights. The keyboard started, the drums started, and he was next to start Turn Me Loose. And I walk over to him and went right to his ear and I went, do, 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 do. and I still remember that and then he goes like this. He just put a big rock pose on and walked right up front and went, do, 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 right? And it was like, oh my God, because it wasn't a record, we didn't even record it yet. Wow. I mean, the Kiss thing was very early, Loverboy. We hadn't even secured a bass player then.
Were you starstruck at all by that show? And by the way, rest in peace, Jim Clinch. I interviewed him many moons ago.
Yeah.
Another guy, he joined BTO right after Randy left. But what was that show like for you? I mean, this is the first big thing. Did you get starstruck? Did you meet the band? A lot of people asked me to ask you this.
Never met Kiss. However, since, the last few years, because Gene Simmons is up in Vancouver a lot because he goes up to Whistler and his daughter and everything. So I see him once in a while at an event or a charity or something. My wife books charity stuff. And I see him and he goes, Mike Reno, you remember that first concert? You guys, and he talks kind of like this. And he goes, I remember the concert. You guys played these songs. And I went, those are good songs. And then I asked somebody, he said, they haven't even recorded yet. I said, I got to get a piece of these guys. He's all business, right? Yeah. And he remembered the concert better than I did. I was so nervous, it almost like I blanked out. I really, really barely remember, other than the fact that there was a whole bunch of people and they didn't throw stuff at us, because that's what a lot of bands, their warm-up acts, they get booed off the stage. And they don't usually do so well. We made it through and we waved at the audience and we just, took off.
But I'm not surprised that Kiss fans would you guys came up with a good old-fashioned driving rock and roll songs, which those songs always stand the test of time. I mean, obviously they have, but but in some ways, looking back, I'm not surprised they dug it. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? It's the songs really do stand on their own with all the other bands. We've been playing we've been around 42 years, we know just about everybody. We played with just about everybody. We played with everybody from Van Halen to Fleetwood Mac. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of that in between stuff with ZZ Top, Kansas, Journey, Styx, Aria. We've done concerts and we're up there playing. And you look over and you see the guys in the band watching it because they're going, geez, those guys, they're pretty good. And I got to say something, this band is good. And I front it, so I'm not playing any of these instruments. These guys are good. And so you really know it when you play with other people at charity events. And when you get back to your band, you go, God, these guys are good. And that's maybe what everybody, I kind of just take it for granted, but I don't really take it for granted. I'm so happy they're that good.
I go, when you tear it apart, you look at Matt's, the drumming is just superb. It's hard. It's great. You look at all the members. I mean, I remember Terry David Mulligan came on once and he says, this is their drumming album. I'm going, what? There was always been a drumming album. But I understand what he was trying to say, that if you take the pieces apart, I mean, it's amazing. Some of your howls and your lines and singing, people sing those they try to sing them like you. But by the way, someone had said something to me that said, I saw him a few years ago and the guy still got it. My first impression of you at that Ched concert, I remember going, if he keeps singing like that, he's not going to sing like that in 30 years. And here you are singing like that and better. You still got it, man. How do you maintain that voice?
I really don't do anything special. Except I don't talk that much on show days, and I travel, and I get lots of rest. You just have to kind of be careful, and because after you get to be my age, you just have to watch it, and you have to be careful. But I sing properly, and I sing like myself. I'm not trying to sound like anybody else, and I think that has a lot to do with it. I remember in early days when I used to cover different bands, and you'd sing, some Bob Seger, and then you'd sing some Aerosmith, and and by the end of the night, my throat would be killing me because I'm trying to sing like somebody else. But when you sing like yourself, it's pretty good. And I've been pretty lucky. I just go like this before every concert. I don't know. I look up and say, "Give me another one, guy."
Nothing wrong with doing that. If you like this interview, you want more of Mike Reno, the entire interview with Mike talking about Loverboy and everything in between, before and after, and everything in between, it's on our sister channel. The link is at the very top of the description of this video. Make sure you comment on our videos, subscribe to our channel, and share our videos. Like them as well. It really helps them gain popularity. I'm John Beaudin. This is Rock History Music.